Hello everyone. In this session, I am going to discuss about Puritans. We will talk about Puritans uprising, how they changed the scenario, and how England had its first democracy. So the Puritans' age start with 1605. There was a plot against the kingship, which is known as Gunpowder Plot. In 1605, it is also known as Guy Fawkes Plot. It is a failed attempt to assassinate King James I of England during the opening of Parliament in November 1605. It was against the kingship royal class. Guy Fawkes, he planted the 39 barrels of gunpowder beneath the stage and wanted to blast it. But this plan was leaked and Guy Fawkes was killed. He was indirectly connected to the Puritans. So the question arises is that what is this term Puritan? Puritan comes out from the word puritas, means pure. Puritans, they strongly believed in the philosophy of John Calvin. John Calvin, he propounded a theory of born sinners. They believe the birth has given to us is only for repeat. Charles I was very lavish king and hated by the people and Puritans. Puritans started protesting against him and people supported Puritans although Puritans were hated by people because of their born sinner views. But the people knew that the Puritans are very religious and they told everyone that this king is not the son of God. When Puritans started getting support, it resulted in civil war, which was in 1642, fought between the Puritans and the King Charles I army. So at that time, theaters were closed. Civil war goes on for 7 years, 1642 to 1649. In 1649, Charles I got killed and Puritans established their empire. When King Charles I became the king, he was spotted by Archbishop Laud. He was the mouthpiece of Charles I. During 1622 to 1625, English throne was occupied by a Protestant leader. But in 1625, when Charles I became the king, he dissolved the parliament and started ruling between 1630 to 1640. In 1642, parliament was recalled, but again Charles I appointed his people. This action became the tug of war and civil war started in 1642 when his loyalty was questioned for the English people. He said that the English church is the most authentic church and proclaimed that if martyrdom was needed, he would seal the prophecy of faith with his own blood. Then he started occupying all the rights on the name of divine right. Then civil war was started for 7 years and it ended with the executive action of Charles I. Archbishop Laud, King wife, they all were killed, but King's son Charles II ran away to France. Then the government was formed by the Puritans. Oliver Cromwell spotted Puritans because they were right. So he was from royal class and had 10,000 soldiers. He supported Puritans. Then Cromwell said that there should be no king, only democracy is needed. When the democratic government was formed, mostly was Puritans. Oliver Cromwell said, I will protect this government, and this government is known as Protectorate. And Cromwell was given an honorable position of Lord Protector. After that, there are many names of Puritan age. For example, Protectorate, the Parliament of Saint, Iron Government, Commonwealth Rig, and Interregnum. Next question is what kind of the protectorate government? It was Presbyterian government where the religious authority controlled the rule, also known as papacy. When this government started ruling, they made many changes. Being religious, they made people follow law, religion, culture, and banned wine, public function, procession, all sorts of pleasure because Puritans think pleasure is sin. From 1649 to 1660, people had to face lots of trouble and they got fed up, and then public invited Charles II. Charles II came with a very big army in 1660. He defeated Puritans and established monarchy in England. Oliver Cromwell was died in 1658, so Charles II defeated Puritans easily. This is also known as the Restoration Age. So let's talk about Puritan writers. The first writer is John Milton, whose time is 1608 to 1674. He was born in London, studied in Christ College, and the question arises is, who is called Lady of the Christ? Milton was excessively fair. His delicate features, his feminine personality made him to be called Lady of the Christ. At that time, women were not allowed to be the students. So, most of the students they just say that he has been called the Lady of the Christ, but they don't know what is the actual meaning. The meaning is that Milton's friend would make fun of Milton by calling him that you are the Lady of the Christ College. Milton initially wanted to be a clergy, but after he completed his college in 1632, he moved to his relative place called Horton. He lived there for 6 years all alone and studied all the types of literature and languages. These 6 years of Milton are called lost years of Milton, whose time period is 1632 to 1638. These years are also called Horton years. When he completed his studies, he went out for tour Italy, France, and England, and High England tour in 1638 to 1639. There were fashion to go Highland to understand or learn about society. These were related to Gaelic romances. It was a fashion from Anglo-Saxon age where scholars would go for travel, and the scholar who travelled the Highland were called Galliards. So he was traveling in Italy, France, and England, and he cancelled his trip and returned when he got to know there is a civil war going on between the common man and Charles I. When he cancelled the tour, he wrote a letter to his friend where he said, how I can be so mean to travel for intellectual gaining while my countrymen are fighting for freedom. He came back, he started writing pamphlets against Charles I, then resulted in execution of Charles I in 1649. He married a lady, Mary Paul, but because of Milton's stern Puritan behavior, it troubled Mary Paul. She was the girl of 17 years and Milton was 34. She left the house and ran away. This became an insult. Milton was humiliated because he was the minister at that time. Milton presented this matter into the parliament. Parliament scolded him for bringing the family issue in parliament, but Milton spoke and presented a pamphlet which is called the first ever pamphlet written on divorce. Milton defended and said that women they have been considered obstacle in the way of salvation. I am a Puritan and my way of salvation is hindered by my own wife. Then the parliament agreed on the topic. They passed a verdict that a woman can't take divorce without the consult of her husband, and if she does so it will be called adultery. Then Mary Paul came back. She started living with him, but after few years she died. Then Milton married again, and the second wife was Catherine Woodcock. She was the best wife, but she could not survive. Milton wrote an epithalamium to welcome his new wife, and the title of the epithalamium was wedding song is Me Thought I Saw My Late Episode Saint. And Milton married for the third time, but this third wife troubled Milton's life. Third lady was Elizabeth Mansell, but this time Milton died. Milton's own work, Samson Against His. Here, the female villainous character based on his third wife. He was famously called the greatest English author by his own biographer William Halley. John Milton wrote many works. The first is Ode on the Christ Nativity. Ode on the morning of Christ Nativity. It was written in 1629. It is the first famous work of Milton. It is a religious hymn and totally dedicated to Jesus Christ. Milton is a devotee. He praises Christ and thanks Christ for giving him the power of writing. The next is on his 23rd birthday. In 1631, Milton wrote a famous sonnet on arriving at the age of 23. Here Milton says that I have completed 23 years of my life. It is a Petrarchan sonnet, and whole theme is that the poet is not happy because he has completed his 23 years of life and have not yet achieved something great. As I am a poet and God has blessed me with the poetic powers, but I would not utilize it. I was supposed to write about the God, to praise the God, talk about heaven and hell, but I could not. It is a Petrarchan sonnet. In first octave, 8 lines, he is complaining that I wasted my 23 years. But when we came to the sestet part, Milton becomes philosophical and say that though I couldn't utilize 23 years completely, but my 23 years were not wasted completely. He says, I have accumulated lots of sources, studied a lot, I have collected knowledge to write a great book, and he says that it is the will of God if He wants me to write, and He will bless me and the time will come. Then this sonnet becomes very important for us because here Milton indirectly promises us that he is collecting knowledge and he is going to write something great. Milton is already working on the theme of Paradise Lost. He had 100 plus theme while in his college days he was working on, and he had themes like 60 themes taken from Bible, 33 themes taken from English literature, and 5 from Scottish literature, and 2 from Oriental Romance. After this, there are 2 long poems. La Algoro, which was written in 1632, and El Pensiero, which was written in 1632. They are also called twins poem. La Algoro deals with the morning scene. The opening scene of the poem talks about the beauty of nature and the whole content is very happy. He talks about rustic life, beauty of life, ascetic way of living life, and puritanical way. And La Pensiero, it deals with the evening time and it is in sad and gloomy mood. Here he talks about the corruption of church, people, those who are living materialistic life. In short, he was talking about the influence of Charles I on society. There was a bishop called Gordon. He wrote a famous work, Icon Best Like, Latin work dealing with Charles I. Icon Basilic means image maker, and he presented Charles I as a good man or Puritan, and by killing him, Puritans did mistake. Then Milton replied this work by writing iconoclast means image breaker. Milton said, by killing Charles I, we have done duty to God. His next work is Mask of Commerce, which was published in 1634. Comus is a magician. It is written on the wedding of Earl of Bridgewater's daughter. Mask of Chemist deals with the story where the heroine has been kidnapped by the magician Mask, and hero comes to rescue her. The next work is Lucidius. It is a pastoral elegy published in 1637. It is written on the death of King Edward, his college friend. In this poetry, he talks about rustic life, corruption of church. Here he called clergy blind mouths. The next work is Areophagitica, which was written in 1644. It is a first ever written pamphlet in prose that talks about the independent freedom of writing, unlicensed printing. Milton was reading Bible and various classic, got inspired by reading these, and took loads of references and wrote a pamphlet that all the writers, they are divinely gifted. God is the only controller of the writers. His next work is Paradise Lost, which was published in 1667. Its famous quotation by Lamartine is, Paradise Lost is a dream of Puritan fallen asleep over his Bible. The theme of the book is to justify the ways of God to men. Milton invokes a goddess, Urania, and talks about the fall of man. The story of this is, there were lots of angels in heaven. One day, an angel revolted against God. He questioned the right of ruling. He said that when we all angels are equal, it is why God, who is the actual ruler, and others are simply obeying him. Because we also deserve and we have the same quality. Then the big group of angels joined that angel who called Lucifer and revolted against God. A great battle took place in the sky, and these angels defeated by God because God had a secret and special weapon, thunderbolt, a weapon of lightning. They were thrown to a dark and dismal place. Here, Lucifer or Satan, Milton calls him Satan, wakes up first. He gives the famous quotation. He talks to his comrade, waking up them. He says, awake, arise, or be forever fallen. To be weak is miserable. And here the question arises, why Satan is a hero or not of Paradise Lost? Satan has heroic deeds, heroic quotation. He has been introduced as a conventional hero with Hamadea because he questions the issue of rights or equality. So he wakes up and then make his fallen comrades wake up. Then the Beelzebub, Mephistopheles, Moloch, Belial, few more devils, they get up and say, we have been defeated by God. What can we do? Here Satan motivates them by saying, what though the field we lost? All is not lost. Our unconquerable will, our immortal hate, and study of revenge will help us to fight back. Then one of devils says, we have lost heaven. Now we are in dark and gloomy place. We don't know where we are set. So Satan says, mind has its own place. Itself can make the hell of heaven and heaven of hell. And the famous quotation is that better to regain in hell than serve into heaven. This is how he motivates each and everyone. And then he says, as we know that God has a very special weapon, we are not able to defeat him. We are going to take another way. And Satan says, I come to know that God has created a human race and I will corrupt it. The question arises where they are having debate. It is a dark, dismal, and gloomy place. This is called the Parliament of Hell, and Pandemonium is the name for Parliament used by Milton. Satan goes to befall human. He goes to Sun in disguise and questions the way of Eden Garden, and he tries to reach there. But the guards are very much alarmed and they kick him away. Then Satan converts himself into the mist and he befalls the guard and enters in the Eden Garden. Here Satan is looking at Adam and Eve. Adam was created first, and from the ribs of Adam, Eve got created. Both of them are working together, and Adam and Eve they start conversation. Eve says that I want to go somewhere else so there I can work properly. Eve said, we are working together. While gardening, we look at each other, we share the gestures, we pass the smile because we are the husband and wife. And this diverts my attention. So let me go somewhere so I can work perfectionally. A patriarchal statement by Adam, a woman is always saved by the side of her husband. And being a woman, you should work hard to be pleased by one man, that is your husband. But Eve is very stiff and she keeps on saying that I want to go somewhere else. Then finally, Adam is convinced and he says, you can go and work somewhere else with a great quotation. He says, sometimes solitude has a company. Then Eve goes all alone and she works. Satan in the form of mist, listening this whole conversation and try to enter into the body of animal, and he chooses a serpent. So here the question arises is that why Satan entered in the body of a serpent or choose the body of serpent. Satan says the snake by nature is very intelligent, and if I enter in the body of snake, nobody will mind that. Then he goes to Eve disguised in serpent and he starts praising the beauty of Eve. You are very beautiful and deserving. You should be dwelling in the heaven among the goddesses. Eve says, how can you talk? Then Satan says, I have tasted the fruit of knowledge and you don't have the knowledge. This is the reason you have been ignored by everyone. Eve says, I want to see the fruit. After long discussion, they go to the fruit. The question arises is that why the fruit of the knowledge was placed at the east of Eden Garden? Because they travel from west to east. This is the part of post-colonial study. And when they go, there Eve has already seen the fruit. Seeing the fruit, Eve tells serpent that God has told us not to eat this fruit. If we eat this fruit, we will die. Here Satan gives a remarkable speech, the best Renaissance speech. He says, you are already dead. You are merely a breathing entity, nothing more than that. You can't visualize future. You can't rationalize things. You don't know the past and future. That's why you have been left all alone. You have all the qualities to be a goddess, but you have no knowledge, so you have been kicked out. This is how he convinces Eve to eat the fruit, and Eve eats that fruit, and this becomes the first disobedience of human. Milton says, on the first disobedience of the man and the taste of the forbidden fruit brought death into the mortal world. and all our woes and suffering, till one great restore us to blissful seed. Then the Adam also tasted the fruit, and God punished them by throwing them on the earth. After that, he wrote Paradise Regained. When Paradise Lost was completed by Milton, his best friend Thomas Allywood has requested him that Thou hast thought Paradise Lost. What hesitate thou to talk about Paradise Regained? After Paradise Lost, Milton has written Paradise Regained in 1671, which is in 4 books, and here this book become a flop book. The reason is Milton here tells us that we should be Puritans or devoted to God, and then only we can find the paradise once again. Jesus Christ is the hero of the Paradise Regained. After that, he wrote Samson Agonist. It is believed to be semi-autobiographical work where Milton's third wife, Elizabeth Mimshel, has been caricatured through a character Delia. Delia was proved fatal for her husband, and Samson was a warrior, and he had all his power in his locks, means hair. Delia reveals a secret to his enemies that if you cut the locks of the boy, he will become powerless and will be captured easily. Milton said himself in preface that it should taken as dramatic poem. The next work is on his blindness. Milton became blind at the age of 44 around 1652, but still he write the writings. The famous line is, those also serve only stand and wait. Then he wrote when the assault was intended to the city. When Charles II attacked England to take control from Puritans, he was about to kill Milton but Milton wrote a sonnet requesting Charles II not to kill him because he was a poet and a blind man. Charles II pardoned him but put loads of ban and confiscated his wealth. The next writer of Puritan age is John Bunyan, whose time is 1628 to 88. He was a cobbler and he became a full-time preacher, but he was imprisoned for preaching without license. He was imprisoned for 12 years. When he married a lady, he luckily got 2 books in dowry, Plain Man's Path Way to Heaven and Practice of Piety. Bunyan read this book and got inspired, and he changed his profession from cobbler to preacher, but he got arrested because he did not have preaching license. After 12 years, when he got released, he took the degree from church and got the license to become the full-time preacher. His famous work is Pilgrim's Progress, which was published in 1678, part 1. It is one of the best allegories. It is said that after Divine Comedy by Dante and Spenser's Fairy Queenie, Pilgrim's Progress is another best allegory. John Bunyan's Pilgrim's Progress, from this world to that world which is yet to come. It is the complete title. Christian sees a dream and gets horrified and realizes that they being human, he is sinner. When he wakes up, he is walking in the field, and where he finds an angel evangelist. Evangelist directs Christian that you must meet Jesus Christ, who lives in Mount Sinai peak on Zion. Evangelist guides him. You must pass the wicket gate. He passes wicket gate, but he finds a pot where he falls, which is called Slug of Despond, also known as Swamp of Despair. His last obstacle was very deep river or river of death. To meet Jesus Christ, you must dip or die. And carry on is the sailor who takes Saul to the Christ. This book is the first book to be mentioned in the term catalog. Term catalog in later Elizabethan age, they started giving the list of books available in bookshop. First person to release term catalog is George Wheeler. The story of Evangelist. It is a famous work of John Bunyan. Here we have a hero Christian who represents all the Christians, and one day he reads a book in his hand, and Bible reading the book, he realizes that his sins and mistake, and he decide to go to the city of salvation, presently Christian living in the city of destruction. So he decide to go salvation city, which is in Jerusalem. When Christian set off for a journey, lot of people support him and lot of people go against. These are the vices and the virtues. Names have been given to them: Mr. Honest, Mrs. Mercy, etc. When he start his journey, he comes across with lots of things like valley of valley of humiliation, valley of sorrows, interpreters, vanity of fear. These are the troubles come in his way and try to distract him from his pathway to meet Jesus, but he does not get deviated and he keeps on going. Finally, he meets Jesus Christ. Before meeting Jesus Christ, what is the last obstacle is that river of death. He surrendered himself in river of death. He dies knowingly, happily, and meet Jesus Christ. After that, he wrote Pilgrim's Progress Part 2, which was published in 1684. Here the same story is repeated again, but the heroine is Lady Christiana, wife of Christian. She represents all the Christian women, and she undertakes the same journey to meet her husband and the God, but she is accompanied by the 4 of children. But one by one they get deviated. One of them become the part of materialistic life. One of them gets confused in interpreter's house, and so on. But the lady keeps on going and finally meets her husband and Jesus Christ. Throughout the journey, she has been supported and accompanied by Miss Mercy. Greatheart is the hero who protects Christiana from the demon's laziness to be with her husband, and Gaze Inn is a place where Christiana is being targeted by fluttering people. Grace Abounding, it's a confectional work, a kind of semi-autobiographical work where John Bunyan talks about his personal life. When he became a full-time preacher, he was in his last years on his death bed. Then somebody told him that there is a person who is also on deathbed and needs final sermon. Then Bunyan traveled 65 miles to give final sermon. After giving the sermon, he himself died on way. The next work is Life and Death of Bad Man. Here he talks about a bad person who represent all the bad people, and he tells that bad may enjoy certain things, but he will definitely come to meet his hand. Life and Death of Mr. Badman is called first precursor of modern novel. This book shows the character study of Badman, our father of English novel. It is the best title given to John Bunyan by Rudyard Kipling. Here we have another religious writers The next writer is Thomas Browne, whose time period is 1605 to 1682. His famous work is Religio Medici, which was published in 1642. Religious of a medical man or a physician, he tells that physician is next to God and he should be very honest to his duties. It was published in 1642. The next writer is Isaac Walton, whose time is 1593 to 1683. His famous work is The Complete Angler, which was published in 1653. It deals with the philosophy of fishing. It has a fisherman. One day, an old man comes and says that why you don't go to the church? You are always busy in your work. Then fisherman replies, I am fisherman. I am very honest to my duties and I am not a greedy person. I do not take extra fishes if not required and I threw extra fishes back and I am following what God has assigned me. The next writer is Robert Burton, whose time is 1577 to 1640. His famous work is Anatomy of Melancholy, which was published in 1621. It is the first ever treatise dealing with the depression, dealing with psychology, and first book that talks about depression as a disease. Here he talks about melancholic nature and give us two way cure it. How can we cure melancholy nature? The answer is by love and hope. The next writer is Jeremy Taylor, whose time is 1613 to 1667. He is a clergy and he has famously written Rules and Exercise of Holy Living, which was published in 1650, and another book is Rules and Exercise of Holy Dying, which was published in 1651. Jeremy Taylor is famously called Shakespeare of Divine and Spenser in Cassock. His style of handling characters, themes, plot is like Shakespeare because his all characters are gods and goddesses. His lyrical quality is compared to Spenser as he talks about the hymn and the praising poem. The next writer is Francis Bacon, whose time is 1561 to 1626. He born with a silver spoon. His father was the Lord Keeper of Seal. Because of his father's position, he made royal contact in early life. There is an instance that Queen Elizabeth called him Little Lord Keeper. Francis Bacon became Lord Keeper of Seal and he started using his friend, his contacts and sources to get height in his life. It is believed that Francis was a most opportunist person and a corrupt person by nature. Alexander Pope has said that he is the wisest, brightest, and meanest of mankind. His famous work is Advancement of Learning, which was published in 1605. It is dedicated to King James I, and here he requests King James I to release funds for scientific education. Francis Bacon is the first man to advocate the need of scientific education and development and other things. His next work is Instituta Magna, which was published in 1620. It is divided in 6 parts. Novum Organum is one of the most important part. It is written in 1620, has 6 books in Latin, but by content it deals with science, use of science and modern day science values. The next work is New Atlantis. It has utopian concept. They simply believe here that King Solomon has been taken as an example, and Bacon has written a story in a way that a traveler who has seen King Solomon's island comes back to England and tells about the island. He says King Solomon is the king who has donated his own palace to be used as a modern libraries. King supports science and gives fund In Country of King, everybody is given freedom to experiment and experience the thing on their own, and they simply follow the empiricist through observation. Francis Bacon is the first man in English literature to write formal essays. He was inspired by a French writer, Montaigne. Montaigne is also called father of essays, but he was a French writer, and his famous work is Essays, got published in 1580. Francis Bacon is also called the father of English essay. Bacon imitated Montaigne and wrote 58 essays. His first 10 essays were published in 1597, and new 28 essays were published in 1612, and all 58 the essays collectively were published in 1625. Uh, so let's give a look at Bacon's essay. His essays have three themes: man relation with man relation with society, and man relation with God. Maximum essays have the title including the word of, for example, of studies, of marriage, of friendship, etc. The famous quote is, reading makes a ready man, writing makes a perfect man. Some books are to be tasted, some to be swallowed, and some to be chewed and digested. His famous essays of enemy, its famous line is, attack your enemy under the mask of self-defense. The next is of marriage, whose famous quotation is, wives are young men's mistress, and companion for the middle, and nurses for the old. And the next essay is of children, whose famous quote is, children sweeten labor, but they cause misfortune more better. Francis Bacon works on the essays. They have a particular style which is called aphoristic style. Aphoristic style is when you use idioms and quotation in your language. This style is called aphorism. William Blake said that Bacon's essays are good advice for Satan's kingdom, and Bacon's essays are also called salt of the grain. His essays come from the man bosom and business. As Bacon himself unsupported science, once he was experimented, he had paraffin and he wanted to find out at what point this oil gets freezed. So he was just looking at the frozen point of the paraffin. He set out his house, and the heavy snowfall kept on waiting for the temperature to go to the minimum point where the paraffin get freeze. But doing that act, he caught pneumonia and he died after 3 days. Francis Bacon was heavily charged by the Parliament of taking bribe, and he was charged a fine of 40,000 pounds. All of his property was confiscated and he was imprisoned, but he wrote a letter using his power of words or pen to the king and advocated the concept of divine right and influenced the king. Then king ordered his release next day. The next famous writer of Puritan age is John Webster, whose time is 1577 to 1634. His famous work is White Devil. White Devil is a play which deals with the theme of revenge and retribution. It deals with misogyny, individualism, and there are certain ghost appearances. Almost everybody is taking revenge from each other in the play. The book is famous for female virtues, and superficially the setup was complete opposite. Isabella represents the marital while Victoria represents the war. Characters are important. Characters are Francisco, Isabella, Britannia, Dr. Julio, and Cristo, along with the Lady Victoria, who has been called the White Devil. The next best work of John Webster is My Dearest Rival. And his next work is Duchess of Malfi, which was published in 1623. Bath and White Devil and Duchess of Malfi. There is an Italian court corruption in both of these plays. Bassola is a round character. Bassola is a murderer and revenger also. Even after imprisonment, her two brothers they sent a group of fools and they shot dead body of Duchess, uh, husband and children in dark light. So Duchess can be tortured. Why do they do so? Ferdinand, who was the younger brother and twin to the lady, had an attraction towards his own sister, and he was very jealous that his sister secretly married someone else. So, his own sexual desire towards his sister made him jealous, and he started taking revenge. And this revenge has been taken in love. When finally Duchess died, Ferdinand look at her face and says, "Cover her face. Mine eyes dazzle. She died young." So that's all about the Puritans age. In next video, we will talk about Restoration age. Thank you so much. If you like my video, please like and subscribe to my channel.